if producers find out how like Alchemist or bigger producers make the beats, sometimes they just straight up loop it. That style of music production is kind of like DJing. Is DJing lazy? You know what I mean? Is mixing up two songs lazy? Or is it like finding a part of one song and another and putting it together and then making a production out of it? Yo, what's good, everyone? It's Rude Noise. Before I begin anything, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I'm super thankful for all my supporters right now. Like, it's still kind of crazy how much I've built up my channel this far. Like, it's a blessing, you know what I mean? But yeah, in this video I'm just gonna go through some questions from you guys that I see in the comments, stuff that I can answer really quick for you guys. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So this question's a little bit newer. I'm not even gonna pronounce your name because I'm gonna butcher it, but shout out to you. And you asked, where do you find your samples? So this is probably the most asked question that I get from a lot of my videos, especially my shorts. If you just want the quick answer, I'm actually gonna put a download link in the description. I'm gonna just give you guys some sample sources. It's gonna be in a PDF, free download if you want to check that out. But yeah, a lot of my samples come from YouTube. Like, I go to Music for Empty Rooms, Oleg, shout out to Oleg. This is stuff that you can search up on YouTube. You could search up vintage samples. A lot of my samples just come from YouTube channels, but those YouTube channels, they have their own records that they upload to YouTube. That's the majority. That's, again, if you want to check out that free download, I have all the links right there. I give like ideas in that, like going to the thrift store and stuff like that. But you could get samples anywhere, but I think it's finding good sounding sample. Not even, I don't want to say good quality samples because some of the samples don't have the best quality to them, but they just sound good. Like, I like how like the melody sounds, and you know what I mean, like how dark the sample sounds. So it kind of comes down to personal preference at the end of the day. But yeah, a lot of my shit I get on YouTube, and sometimes I get some hate for it. If it sounds good, it sounds good. That's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think about it. But yeah, check out that free download. So shout out to King from Space. He asked, "Is this considered cheating?" And I'm guessing, I get comments like this all the time. So a lot of producers, I wouldn't even say just producers, but I would say just regular people that listen to music and they find out how a producer, like a sample based producer, actually made the beat. With my, I'm not gonna lie, like with my beats, I'll find a loop, especially on the MPC. Like, I'll find a loop. Oh, it's about to die too. Or I got to plug it in to get it charged. But a lot of my beats, I use samples. I chop them up in like 1/8 or 1/16, and then I play them back, but I slow it down. So I might play like the same pattern of the sample, but it's just slowed down and might have a new swing to it. I don't even want to keep repeating myself why I do that. A bunch of people ask me why I chop up my samples like that. I could just tell you on the MPC Live or on any MPC, that's the method I use, because if I chop it up like that, I can play it at any speed. And like, again, I don't even want to go into details, but that's the way I chop. I know on the MPC there's warp and stuff. I'm not a fan of the warp, to be honest. I don't like the way it sounds. The way I do it, I don't like the way it sounds. But sorry, that was kind of like long-winded. But yeah, I guess if producers find out how like Alchemist or like bigger producers make the beats, sometimes they just straight up loop it. I think it really is only an issue. I think there's two sides to it. Artistic wise, it might seem like lazy. I think that style of music production is kind of like DJing. Is DJing lazy? You know what I mean? Is mixing up two songs lazy? Or is it like finding a part of one song and another and putting it together and then making a production out of it? Or like a song out of it. Like, I personally think that's cool. I like remixes. Like, remixes are big right now. You know what I mean? They've always been big. So is remixing lazy? You know what I mean? So that's the one side of it, like the artistic side, and the other side is always good. I think this is the biggest complaint is like, okay, are they making money from just taking other people's production, like other people's piano sounds from a vinyl? You know what I mean? Like, I think when it comes to the money, I can see why people can get upset about that. Again, I've never been in a situation where I have a sample and a label reached out to me, but like, we're in the music business, you know what I mean? So like, that's just part of the business. If you sample, you're gonna have to do some splits and stuff like that. And most likely, if you take a sample from a song or from a vinyl record, like there's gonna be some music business behind it. You know what I mean? You're probably not gonna make a lot from it. So, and I think a lot of people that see the method of how other producers sample and they're like, wait, they just straight up looped that and like pitched it down. They're like, yo, it seems like he's making a bunch of money. You know what I mean? Like, I think for the most part, I don't think producers that sample make a lot of money like that. So I personally don't see it cheating, like, especially with hip hop. It's always been part of our culture. I think it all depends on how you use the sample. But at the same time, like, there's plenty of big songs that are straight up just a loop of a sample, a loop of a drum break, and then a rapper on it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's cheating? Let me know down below in the comments. So the next question, shout out to Marcus Sawyer. Marcus Sawyer 680. And they asked, if you get flagged, what are the consequences? So I'm guessing, you know, if you make a sample beat, upload it to YouTube, what are the things that you can run into? The first thing is copyrights, not copyright strike. Is it a copyright strike? So yeah, it's not copyright strike, but it's copyright claim. So you can get a copyright claim from the record label or whoever owns the actual sample. You might get a copyright claim. Most of the time, that's what's gonna happen. It's nothing crazy. Like they claim it and they just collect the revenue. So that could hurt a little bit, like if you depend on YouTube monetization and everything, but it's not that crazy. Like, no one's gonna come after you and sue you. The only time, and before I even say this, I made past videos on this. I'm not an expert at this. I'm not a lawyer. I've never been in a situation where I have a big song or beat that blew up and I got sued or anything, but like if you have millions of plays on that song or the beat, then yeah, like the label I want to say will contact you in some way to, you know, try to work out splits, but I personally don't know, but I can say if you're in that situation, you're doing something good. That means there's eyes on your songs. I actually mentioned this in the previous video, and this guy said that a record label reached out to him and he didn't really have a lot of views, which I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to believe without evidence. Like, you can say that, but I need some evidence before you know what I mean? There's so many situations that you can be in, but what I would say is for most people, you just don't have to really worry about that. I think the worst thing that can happen is a copyright claim for most of us. I would say that's probably the most common consequence. Like if you make sample beats and, you know, when you make your beat, make sure to chop it up, speed it up, all that stuff. Like there's so many ways to avoid the copyright claim. So this is one more question that I'll answer. This is actually coming from a community post. I pretty much said like, yo, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll answer it. But this one, shout to Infinite Scholar 213, moving from a good but repetitive loop to a full on beat with variations. So I think this just comes down to like if you're sampling, it depends on, hey, are you using like a 2-bar loop, a 4-bar loop, if you're using an 8-bar loop, or if you're using one loop from a section of a song and another one. That's probably the best way, like to find one loop that you like, or like even like chop up a 4-bar loop, play it one way, and then play it a different way. But I would say for my beats, I'll give you the things I do in my beats. Like, so I usually find like a 2 or 4-bar loop, chop it up, and then I might play the same pattern, or I find a chopped up pattern that I like, make that the main loop for the song, but then I'll add drums, or I'll add bass. How I sequence the beat I might have everything playing at once. And then maybe for one section, I might just take out the drums for it. Or for another section, I might have the drums come in and out. You know what I mean? So like the sample will play, the drums will play, the bass will play, but then for one part of that sequence, I might just like cut the drums out. I think I have a video out, I'm pretty sure, but there's a video out like how I make the arrangement for my song, so check that out. I'm pretty sure it's on my YouTube channel. I think it really all depends on like the sample chops that you're using, or like, you know what I mean, if you're using different elements from a sample. This is a lot easier if you're making, in my personal opinion, I think it's a lot easier if you're making a beat from scratch, because you're adding elements, like you're adding piano by yourself, you're adding sound effects and pads and all that stuff. But if you're using samples, I would say just like little tweaks with the arrangement, and also using filters. I think that's a big part that you can make your beat sound, or your beat have more variation in it and everything. You could use filters and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely check out my arrangement video. I'm pretty sure I have one on my YouTube channel. But yeah, those are some questions that I just see people, they left on my YouTube channel. Let me know if you have any other questions. Let me know if you like this type of video. I like doing these kind of Q&A videos. Again, I'm thankful for everyone that has been supporting my channel. Even you guys just watching this is supporting. Really appreciate you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. But yeah, thank you again for everything. Peace.